But anyway, so then there was a guy, he's quite famous as a South African actor. His name is Terence Bridget.
Oh, yes. He used to play Chico on Isidingo.
So I'm not sure if I should share the full story, but between me and Terence, we managed, because there's no alcohol allowed in that house, that holding house we stay. So we managed to obtain some. And then we'd wait for the others to go to bed. And then he enjoyed the vodka, I enjoyed the Spice Gold. And no, I'm not being paid to say that. And then we would just, so all the spare time I had in like the holding area and everything, I was just memorizing recipes. And then we would practice cooking every night while we had a couple of drinks. And then...
That's
so dope, yeah. So like I couldn't cook, but I could memorize a recipe.
Oh.
And that's kind of how I got through. And then I should have actually gone home. But as I say... Ngezi was like... And it was obvious because he had a one-man show like later that week. So he was like... He swears blind to this day. Every time I've asked him, he's gone, no. That's not how I genuinely... I was like, no, dude, I've seen you cook. He was awesome. You should have won that thing.
Yeah.
But then he was the first. And then as the competition progressed, I got kind of better and better and better. And then like by the final, I sort of knew what I was doing. And luckily, one of the recipes I'd memorized. So in that first thing with Mongezi, it was a ceviche. And I'd never heard of a ceviche.
Ceviche.
Ceviche. It's Spanish.
Asking the wrong people.
So I'd never heard of this thing before. So I'd like sort of Googled it and whatever. And I'd looked at all these recipes and sort of memorized them. And then they were like, okay, your first challenge for the final has to be a cold starter. And I was like, I'm going to do a ceviche. Yeah. So it was a rainbow trout ceviche with avocado sorbet. And that was the one that won. Because we were quite equal in the main course, but the starter was the one that won it for me.
Yeah.
What was the main course?
The main course was, it was like, I forget exactly how to, it was like you cut away the spine of a lamb and then you put pancetta in it and then stuffed it with a few things that I can't remember. I've never made that one again, but the ceviche I make often.
And I don't know, I've cooked with Chris before. Well, I didn't cook. I was just,
you were watching.
I was watching. I was doing this thing online where he was cooking and then I was explaining what's happening to the people watching on live. But they kept on asking me questions that I don't know. I was like, so the whole time I'm cooking and I'm like, Chris, this one asks, what is this? And then eventually I was just the guy just sitting in the background, like just watching. But I got paid, which was cool.
It's so crazy how from that you were able to build this cooking empire, right? Because from there you did so many spin-offs of cooking shows, and there's a lot of stuff that I see you do on a corporate level.
Yeah.
There's stuff that you would turn it into a show.
Yeah.
Did you know that your career would take you on that trajectory?
Not really. No, so after MasterChef, then I was like, okay, maybe this cooking thing's... Yeah. It's never occurred to me before.
That's so insane. So how many other spin-offs of that from MasterChef did you do?
So now what happened after that is one of the judges, a guy called Pete Goffwood.
Yes.
Him and me on the show, like while we were filming, only him and Terence a lot of the time, because as you say, I'm straight-faced. Mm-hmm. So people didn't realize I'm joking. And then him and Terence would be killing themselves laughing. There's a story I tell about Patricia Lewis where we're practicing cutting up onions. And then she says, Chris, how do you stop yourself from crying when you cut up an onion? And then I went, Patricia, don't form a relationship with it first. Now, you see, that's kind of funny.
That's fine.
That's kind of funny to me. But then she looked at me and she went, oh, really? And then I was like, no, guys, chill. Because now even people like one of the other people on the show was Alex J. And even he's like sitting there and I'm like, and then I was like, okay, no, guys. And it's weird how I knew this, but it's one of those, because I know weird facts. I was like, if you really want to stop yourself from crying, what you do, and this is true for those of you who are wondering, you stick your head in a freezer. And then what happens is the veins in your eyes constrict or whatever they're called, and then you're less likely to cry. So I tell them that, and then they all start laughing. They're like, Chris, you're a comedian. You're so funny. And I'm like, no, you didn't laugh at that.
That was the real stuff. You
But
didn't
anyway,
laugh at the joke.
When the joke is said, they don't laugh. They think it's
But
serious.
so often, like during the show, I'd be saying stuff, and Pete would be killing himself laughing. And then the other two judges were looking at me like, what the hell?
Yeah, what did he say? What?
And then he would start ragging me back. And then you're not allowed to talk to the judges off camera. But on camera, we were constantly bantering and whatever. And most of it didn't make the final cut. But anyway, so after the show at the rap party, then we chatted, and then we were like, okay, cool. Whenever I'm in Cape Town, we'll hook up for lunch or whatever. And it was at his book launch.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said he was asking me about international comedy or whatever. And I said, no, I've done the Edinburgh Festival a couple of times, and I've done this and that. And he's like, I've always wanted to do a festival. So I said, well, let's write a show. So we wrote a show called Don't Burn Your Sausage between us. And it is what you think it is. We're actually doing it in Hout Bay.